Last week, I mentioned the off-air segment from SmackDown where they played the vocals to the 1967 song White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane. It was very random, it was very haunting, which is why I liked it. Then a red light came on in the arena, very much like we used to see with The Fiend. I mean, they've done it with other people too, Kane, but yeah, the last time we saw that red light being used in that way was for The Fiend. And then it was over, and the show continued as if nothing had happened. They did the same thing at live events in Bakersfield and Oakland, and then again off-air at Raw on Monday and SmackDown this week. Everyone in the crowd holds their phones up like fireflies while the music plays. This is clearly building to a Bray Wyatt return. There can be no doubt about that after the latest clue that dropped on Friday night. Karrion Kross used to play a character, yes, he did, the White Rabbit King on Lucha Underground. He was the leader of the White Rabbit tribe, right? Paul London did too, by the way. Paul London was part of that whole thing. But why would WWE play off of a story or a character from Lucha Underground? Ask yourself that question. It doesn't make any sense. The answer is no, they wouldn't. And Kross is already involved in a program with Drew McIntyre anyway. There is an hourglass on screen with some of these videos they've been showing us, but it's not Karrion Kross. They have been dropping little Easter eggs and clues left and right for us. What they have done, I think, is really clever. They have forced us to pay attention to every segment on these shows because you never know when you might get another clue or another QR code. Austin Theory was in the back on Monday night getting ready for his match, and there, right behind him, was a sticker with a QR code on it. And then in the second hour of the show, there was a guy in the crowd holding up a sign with that same QR code. When you scan the code, it brings you to a WWE.com landing page with video of an animated white rabbit playing a game of Hangman with the clue, who killed the world? And the answer is, you did. Bray did used to sing, he's got the whole world in his hands. Other people have also picked up on the fact that the font that was used, the font type that was used in that video is identical to the same font that was used on Fiend merchandise, a few years ago. So there's a lot of little clues when you put everything together like this. There was another clue that said, "Come with me." And the video then transitions to a screen with the numbers 923 on it in date format. And then it switches back and forth between date and time format. So it says 923 is in the date, September 23rd. But then it says 9:23 as in 9:23 p.m. September 23rd was Friday. 9:23 p.m. just so happened to be right in the middle of SmackDown. Now, I figured that was when we were going to get our next clue, because why give the actual reveal on a random episode of SmackDown? Why give that away? What I loved about this is that it was exactly 9:23 p.m. on Monday when that person in the crowd held up the sign with the QR code on it. At 9:23 p.m. on Friday, nothing happened on the show. I mean, they may have played the White Rabbit song off the air for the people in the building at 9:23, but instead we had a commercial on TV. But they did drop a new video online earlier that night of a white rabbit going through what looked like a Pac-Man maze, trying to escape fire and flames, and then it ended up hopping through an open door. Now, in Bray's Twitter, if you go to, Wyndham, I guess, if you go to Wyndham's Twitter account, in his bio, it says, "He who opens the doors below." It's no coincidence that the rabbit hopped through a door in this video. The latest QR code takes you to a black screen with a rabbit on it, the word patricide, and latitude and longitude coordinates that correspond to the arena in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, where Raw just so happens to be tomorrow night. Fans leaving the building on Friday night found flyers with the same coordinates and a picture of the White Rabbit on their cars. Better a white rabbit than white bird shit. Raw tomorrow night is where we are going to get our next clue. I don't expect an actual reveal until at least Extreme Rules. Halloween falls on a Monday this year. Keep that in mind. I think it would be kind of cool if they saved it for the Halloween episode of Monday Night Raw, but I don't know how many more weeks of teases people are going to put up with before they get tired of this. Patricide. That's very interesting. Patricide is the killing of one's father. And there is an old Bray Wyatt promo, and I do mean old Bray Wyatt promo, as in 10 years old, from the early days of the character in FCW. He's got Eli Cottonwood standing behind him in this promo. Remember Eli Cottonwood? That was a classic rant on this show, back when they gave out all the new NXT names and I went through them one by one. Percy Watson, Lucky Cannon, Husky Harris was another one. That one wasn't too bad compared to the others. But oh my God, Eli Cottonwood. Remember the mustache promo on the old NXT show? I don't have a mustache, but a mustache is for a real man. He says I don't have a mustache. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure he did have a mustache. He says, none of these guys has a mustache like mine. Yeah, he did say that. So why the fuck did he say he doesn't have a mustache? I have the best mustache of anyone here. This was a real television segment, by the way. I can't imagine why he didn't go on to fame and fortune. Maybe he became a professional mustache groomer and he runs his own salon somewhere. But anyway, Bray told the story in this promo of his daddy being the captain of his own shrimp boat and what a mean old man his daddy was. One day, his daddy's boat caught fire and sank with him in it. And Bray had to go away for a little while after that. He said this while holding up a lighter, so he admitted to killing his father. Patricide. It all ties together. I love this kind of stuff. I love this kind of viral marketing that they're doing. It's what hooked me into the first Cloverfield movie when it came out, even though the viral marketing for that movie ended up having nothing to do with the film. But WWE has had discussions with Bray recently about a possible return. There's been no word on how those discussions have gone. But it seems pretty clear to me, based on all these videos and everything they've been doing, that those discussions probably went pretty well. If Bray Wyatt is coming back to wrestling, it's only going to be for one place. He's not going to AEW. He's not going overseas. He's not going to MLW. He's not going anywhere but WWE. And I'm sure that Jefferson Airplane song was not cheap to license. They're not going to do that for just anybody. I mean, there was a character on the show as part of the Firefly Funhouse called Ramblin' Rabbit. And no matter how many times he tried to kill that fucking thing, he would always come back. Now, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole, no pun intended, and try to figure out what every little thing means. I'll leave that to the social media detectives. Everyone picking apart every little thing. I mean, you know, these ARG games are meant to throw you off every bit as much as they're meant to guide you. So you can spend hours, like literally hours and days, trying to figure out what every little thing means. And it may all just end up being a waste of time. But there are some pretty obvious tie-ins here, and there's lots of possibilities. What about Alexa Bliss? Will Alexa Bliss be involved in some way? She was the last time we saw Bray. She's still walking around with Lily the doll. She threw out that 10 feet tall line in her promo with Bayley on Raw Monday night, which is part of the lyrics to the White Rabbit song. Braun Strowman just returned, a former member of the Wyatt family. Also someone who's gone to war with Bray Wyatt and The Fiend. Does the timing of his return have anything to do with all of this? I like these angles that make you think. It keeps you engaged in the show. It gives you more of a reason to watch. I hope he changes things up and doesn't just come back under one of his old personas like he never left. I would think that Bray would want to change things up a little bit. I don't think he's somebody who would be content to just go back to the exact same thing he was doing before. I saw there was training footage of him in a gym somewhere that leaked. We don't know how old that footage is. It could be new, it could be old. I didn't need to see that to know that Bray Wyatt is coming back. It's pretty obvious this is all set up for him. It's only a matter of when, not if.